starting my sustainability journey, I went on a venture to find myself the perfect trainer. I came across Tropicfeel, who promised me the ultimate travelling shoe. I forked out nearly £400 for the full package, but after waiting, and more waiting, I found myself productless. How was I going to walk outside? Was I going to walk around barefoot? And how was I going to carry all of my most prized items? It felt like months passed. Summer turned into winter, and yet still I looked longingly out of the window. I turned to the internet for help, but the reviews were all but positive. I'd done the equivalent of Googling my symptoms and giving myself a cancer scare. How was I going to get my money back? Alas, the doorbell. Finally, my package had arrived. Today, we uncover the brand Tropicfeel. What's up, guys? Today's video is again something a little bit different and not my usual medical content, but I like to mix it up, put a little bit of medical, a little bit of non-medical, just stuff that I'm interested in. So today I'm here to talk to you about my new shoes from the brand Tropicfeel. If you don't know this brand, I was very excited to come upon them actually from a Facebook ad, so well done Mark Zuckerberg, you're making lots of money again. What I'm going to be talking about today is what I think of them, if the products are truly worth it for the absolute rigmarole that you have to go through to get them. I've left the shoes downstairs, so I'm going to go and get them. And we're back. Okay, I feel like it's only fair to do a review on the shoes with the shoes in my presence. So, one of the biggest USPs for this brand is that they use, I think, something like 60% recycled material. So recycled plastic bottles, I think there's about 13 plastic bottles in the shoes. On top of the sustainability and eco-friendliness of the brand was the fact that they offered basically an all-in-one shoe. They offered what they call, and I don't quote this because it might not be true, the ultimate travel shoe, and they basically offer style yet functionality. You can take these shoes anywhere. You can wear them in the sea, you can wear them on the beach, you can wear them walking up a mountain, you can wear them in the jungle, you can wear them in a desert, literally, or you can wear them in the city on a night out. Like, what more could you want from a travelling shoe? So I think it's an overall brand concept, although they do say on the website that sustainability is not one of their sort of selling points. It's actually more of a, what did they call it? Like a commitment or a necessity or something like that. So let's get into talking about the shoes. The first thing I guess I'm going to talk about is actually the appearance. These are the Canon shoes, and these are a size Europe 40 centimeters 26.2, US women's 9. Now, if I'm honest, I actually did get the wrong size. I kind of vary between a EU 39 and 40, and I went for a 40, but rather have it a bit too big than a bit too small. So these are actually technically a size 7 in UK size, and I'm a size 6. So I think if I were a size 7, they would be a good true fit to size, because I am a size 6 and they are literally like that much too big. And I think that's probably perfect. I think one of the other things that I really like about this shoe is the fact that it's quite wide here. I have quite flippersome feet. I don't know if you can see that. It probably doesn't look like much, but they're pretty wide. I think these offer a sort of nice middle ground. I think my foot still does come a little bit over the edge here. In terms of style, I think they're pretty stylish. These are blue and with a white bottom here, and then obviously like beigey brown bottom. I really like these shoes. I have worn them climbing Gibraltar mountains. I have worn them on a night out. I've worn them to the supermarket. I've worn them to the hospital, literally everywhere. And I think that does come under the versatility of this shoe, which they are trying to sell. In terms of comfort, now, when I was in Gibraltar, I climbed the Gibraltar Rock. It was a very hot day. I'd literally only just got these shoes like the day of, maybe. So I literally just took these shoes and I got some horrendous blisters on the back of my feet. I don't think that's indicative of these shoes as such. I think it's more indicative of any shoe. If I'm not used to a shoe, then I will get a blister. However, I think maybe it is indicative of the fact that the shoe is too long for me, which means it slips off. In terms of comfort, apart from the blistering, I think they're so comfortable. I really struggle with shoes because I have such wide feet, and as a result I usually get this pinching in like the ball of my foot, and I just really struggle to wear any kind of shoe that isn't wide fit. So I found these really comfortable. Also, the arch in the middle is like the perfect amount, I would say. I'm not flat-footed, I'd say I'm just normal-footed. Guys, I have to comment on these laces, which the whole of the lace is very stretchy. They say that it's really good for doing them up pretty quickly, and yes, it is really good for that. But I really am not a huge fan of the laces. I think my main issue is this. It just hangs out. So what I do is I just tuck them in like that, but I still think it looks a little bit silly. You can do them up, but they're too short to really do up as a bow. So I think they need to sort this out. The only issue is that I find is to make them tighter, you have to make the whole shoe tighter. You can't just make this top bit tighter. So I find that sometimes I just want this bit tighter and not the whole thing, but you can't have that with this. So what ends up happening is it just squeezes the whole of my foot and I go a bit numb on the top, if I'm honest. My feet do not get sweaty in these at all. Like, they are very breathable, and I never wear shoes without socks. But I could wear these without socks, without any issues. Like, the sweat would just wick away. Now let's move on to the inner sole, which is definitely one of my most favourite parts of this shoe. Now, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, probably not, this inner sole has, I think it's made out of like algae or something. You can see how much I've worn them from my footprint. I think I've only had these a month and I've literally worn them every day. I have worn these in the sea and it was a very odd feeling. So if you're here for the stuff about the wearability in the water, now obviously this is one of the biggest reasons I bought this shoe, was because I don't like going in the sea without shoes on. I know that's very strange, but I don't know what I'm going to stand on. It really freaks me out. Also, it's really slippy, and these are, we'll talk about the sole in a minute, but with regards to the quick drying, now you have to remember that I was in Gibraltar, which is midway between Spain and Morocco. So it was about 28 degrees and it was quite humid, but it was 28 degrees. These dried within, there wasn't much sun. These dried within probably 20 minutes, half an hour. Now, the dryability is what I'm going to call it here. The dryability is very good. What I haven't discovered is how good that dryability is in a colder country. Now, this is pretty damn grippy. There are only a few things that I have found it not grip on, and that has been the inevitable wet seaweed. Or not seaweed, but that like wet grassy stuff that's on rocks. Like, I think most shoes, unless, I don't know, maybe crampons, you probably would. That's the only thing it has come up against and not managed. Your foot just like slides to the side, and yes, it's grippy, but actually your foot is just moving around in the shoe, and that is in part because of this. Again, not a fan of these so much. As you can see, they've got quite a few creases in already, and I think this might be because I have worn them a lot, and also they're too big for me. So they kind of bend in a really weird place. In terms of durability, I think I have shown this in the other videos. There is some fraying happening already, and if I'm honest, like, oh, also you can kind of see here, this foam is all just creasing. To be honest, I think because they're so light, it makes me feel I'm just waiting for them to fall apart. Like, it's not that they are falling apart, but I'm kind of like, I can see the glue and I'm kind of just expecting it to happen. And I think the first part that's going to go is this bit here. By the way, this bit here is pretty good for keeping your toes dry, and one of my other pairs of shoes does not have it and my feet get very wet. Despite this shoe being, I'd probably give it an 8 out of... If I had the shoe in itself, I would probably... No, maybe a 7 out of 10. Because I've only had it a month, I am starting to question how long it's going to last, and I think that will come with time and my opinion of it may change. Now, I'm not sure if there are any other travelling bags out there. Actually, when I think about it, the bag is pretty good. Like, but is it worth 200 quid? Let's get it out quickly, because it's literally just in there. Where is it? Now, it's pretty big. I think one of the main things that I like about this bag is the fact that it opens up like a suitcase. It's made really well. Like, the interior is all pretty pristine. I think this bag is really well made. I don't have that much to say about it. It's supposedly waterproof. I think all of the things are really well thought about in this, and it is a really good travelling bag. It's got extendable bits. It's, you know, it can be made to be quite large if you need it. Has a shoe holder at the bottom. It's got this nice clippy on bit at the front, which you need to buy extra accessories for. It does have a wardrobe bit inside, which I found quite useful actually when you are travelling, and you can just hang your clothes up. In terms of travelling with this bag, it is pretty comfy. Like, it has these the sternum strap. Actually, what I do really like about this bag is it has the waist strap, which is really helpful for when it gets quite heavy. It's got a couple of it's got one pocket on each side, which is quite useful, and you can access either via that way or via the top by opening up like that and going in. Comes out in the same place. Now, what is a little bit silly is the fact that they have, you can lock it, right? So it's, you think, oh great, that's fairly safe. But there's no way of locking this top bit. There's two ways in. The most obvious way is through the top. Like, if somebody's gonna go in your bag and steal stuff, they're gonna go in through the top. They're not gonna think to open it like that. So having a lockability is probably not so useful. All in all, I think it's a pretty good bag. It boasts the same sustainability features as the rest of the products in the Tropicfeel review, but again, it did take a long time to come and it was very expensive. I'm sure there are cheaper options out there, and especially ones that offer the same selling points for a much cheaper price. So I will be using it for my travels, but I probably wouldn't buy it again. Well, I wouldn't, because I have one, but if it broke or whatever, I would probably look elsewhere, unfortunately. There are loads of other brands available. One of the ones I'm looking at is called Allbirds, which looks really good, and I'll leave some more links in the description for some other really sustainable brands which are looking very promising. What's up guys? I finally managed to film the end of this video. I kept having my camera die / memory card fill up because I talked for too long. If you guys liked this review of the bag and the shoes, then please give this video a like, subscribe. Also, if you have any recommendations for any sustainable and eco-friendly brands, shoes, bags, anything, then please let me know in the comments down below because I am looking. So I'll see you in the next video.